I'm Allison Woods, and I live in Wichita, Kansas, and I attend Asbury Church, which is also in Wichita, Kansas. I initially I didn't even think to pursue such an opportunity. However, when I found out that they were going to be looking for nominees, um, I just sort of had this inkling that maybe this was something the Lord wanted me to do. And I thought back to the WCA gathering that was in Indianapolis in 2022. And at that time, I had a very similar experience of the Lord's leading that I just knew I was supposed to go to that. And there's a whole story that goes with that. But this is just a very similar experience where nobody asked me to put in my name for a nomination, but I just had this sense that this was something the Lord wanted me to do. And then the email came across my inbox, and I prayed a lot about this, and I just had the sense that this was something I was to do. So, out of obedience, really, and the reminder of what happened at Indianapolis, this is very similar sense that this was something that the Lord was calling me to do. So that's what motivated me to put my name in. And then in terms of unique experiences and that sort of thing, just the experience of being in Costa Rica, certainly that was just probably the highlight of my life. Just being able to be there was wonderful. And just experiencing the presence of the Holy Spirit and the unity of the body was just amazing. And I enjoyed that so much. And my unique perspective, I guess I would say that I have never been a delegate. I have never been a delegate to annual conference and certainly not to general conference. So I will be going in certainly as somebody who will have to be completely dependent upon the Holy Spirit. Um, I just will go in as someone who is seeking Him step by step and praying a lot because I can't trust previous experiences in this because this is something that I will have to go step by step in trusting Him. I have had the privilege of getting to know people in the Heartland over the last several years, just as I have been in leadership in the Heartland. And I have traveled around the Heartland and visited with different people in the churches and gotten to know them. And I have just come to love so many people in the Heartland. And to put it bluntly, these are my people. I have just come to just adore them, really. I've made friends with so many people in the Heartland and just gotten to know them, and we are friends, and these are wonderful, wonderful people. So it would be a privilege. It would be an absolute privilege to represent the Heartland at General Conference. So I just wanted to share that. But secondly, to how would I represent them? I would represent them by following Christ, by being obedient to Him in General Conference. That's the best way to do it. Is to pray and do what He wants me to do when I am there. That's the best way to do it. And then what's my vision for denominational growth? Well, first of all, it's phenomenal to see what the Lord is doing around the world. I mean, we are growing by leaps and bounds everywhere. So when I think that this church is barely 3 years old, and to see what we have been able to accomplish by the power of the Holy Spirit is amazing, and I give God all the glory. So that's wonderful. But what I see that we need to do as a church, um, I think we need to commit to church planting. That's what they're doing in Africa, in so many places. They're doing it in the Philippines, in so many different areas of the world. They are church planting, and I think in the United States, that is just something that we have to do. And I know that that is not something that we are used to doing here, and we're not comfortable with that. And I'm not either. That's not something that we are used to doing. But new wine, new wineskins. We need to commit to church planting. People don't normally come to churches anymore. We have to go where they are. We have to do new things. And church planting is something that we are just going to have to commit to doing. So I think that's something that we have to learn about and do, and we have to certainly, and I see this happening. We are raising up young pastors, younger people, committing to the younger people. Absolutely. So that's that. But I think the third thing, and really this is the first thing, is we absolutely must be a church that is committed to prayer. We have seen what happens when it's a church that is committed to just action only. Do, action, 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 and it falls apart. We've seen it. We were a part of it, and it does not work. We have to flip the script. Um, we must absolutely be a church that is committed to seeking the face of the Lord. That's how we got here. When we were the WCA and going through disaffiliation, we were fully committed to prayer. And that is how we're going to continue. If this denomination is going to succeed, we must absolutely be a church that is committed to prayer, both independently, individually, and corporately. We must absolutely be committed to prayer. And that must be our foundation. That must be our first priority. I know that the leadership, the bishops have said this categorically, and it must filter down to pastors. It must filter down to administrative boards. It must filter down to the individual churches, to individuals in the church pews. It absolutely just has to change how we do things. Again, new wine, new wineskins. So if we don't change how we do things, then we're going to end up doing things the way we used to. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, you know what that's called. So we do need to change things. We need to change how we do things. So I certainly believe that we can. I absolutely believe people want to. We saw what happened at Costa Rica when prayer was the most important thing and people sought the face of the Lord. He came and it was magnificent. And I certainly want to see that happening in our churches, that they would become houses of prayer. I believe people want it. I've talked to them. They want it. So I certainly hope that that's going to be the change that can happen. And I'm looking forward to helping that become a reality in the heartland and in the denomination. Well, it's pretty much what I've already said, that the foundation was laid in Costa Rica. The unity that was in Costa Rica was amazing. I mean, you could ask anyone who was there, and the testimonies that came out of Costa Rica, people were shocked. People who had been to several previous general conferences said they were shocked. They had never seen anything like it. The unity that came, the ability of people to come to consensus and to pass legislation like that. They were stunned. They'd never seen anything like it. And that was because of the amount of prayer that went into it ahead of time, the amount of prayer that was there happening during General Conference, and the power of the Holy Spirit that came upon us time after time after time. And the unity that came, I mean, people just said, "Okay, let's do that." And they all were in agreement. There was no fighting, there was no discord. I mean, people just agreed, and we can do that again. And we want to. I think that's the thing, is people want to do this. People want to see this unity continue. People want to see the power of the Holy Spirit come down in their own churches. They want this. People want to see General Conference 26, they want to see the Holy Spirit come again. What happened in Costa Rica, they want to see it happen again. They want it across the board. They want it in their districts. They want it in their conferences. They want it in the whole denomination. And it's not going to happen just because we want it. It's going to happen because we ask the Lord and we seek his face. And that's what's going to make the Global Methodist Church different from so many other denominations, is if we are a praying denomination. And so that's what I hope to bring to this denomination. That's what I am praying for. That's what I'm working for. And that's what I hope other people, and I trust other people, are working for. And that's what I hope to bring to this denomination and to our conference.